Hey, good morning, everybody. We are reading for the next few weeks from the Gospel of Luke. Now, Luke is one of the four writers at the very beginning of the New Testament that write about Jesus' life. And we call them Gospels because the word gospel means good news. And of course, that's the good news of Jesus. Now, here's what we know about the four writers. We know that Matthew and John were some of Jesus' disciples. They were some of the 12, two of the 12. And so they had eyewitness accounts of Jesus' life. And we also know that Mark got his information from Peter, who was another eyewitness. And Luke, who was interestingly enough the only non-Jew or Gentile writer in the New Testament, got his information in a slightly different way. Let's read from verses 3 and 4 about how he got his information. Having carefully investigated everything from the beginning, I also have decided to write an accurate account for you, most honorable Theophilus, so you can be certain of the truth of everything you were taught. Now, we don't know who Theophilus was, but we do know that Luke is very, very intent on us knowing, anybody who reads his gospel to know that he was very careful about getting the most accurate information. Now, Luke also wrote for us another book in the New Testament called Acts, the Acts of the early church, or the Acts of the Apostles, as it's called. And in that book, we find out that Luke accompanied the Apostle Paul on some of his missionary journeys, and that Luke was also a doctor. Now, as Luke introduces the first two characters of his account of Jesus' life, he does something that he often does. He ties some historical figures of the time in with what was going on. So in verse 5, we read, when Herod was king of Judea. He's tying it to one of the kings that was well known. There was a Jewish priest named Zechariah. He's our first character. He was a member of the priestly order of Abijah, and his wife Elizabeth, that's the second character, who was also from the priestly line of Aaron. Now, one more important fact here as we begin. In the Old Testament, we know that God often spoke through people that were known as prophets, people that he chose to bring his message to kings or to people in general. However, God seemingly had not chosen anybody, had not spoken through a prophet for more than 400 years. And there were certainly people questioning whether God had forgotten his promise to Israel or his plan for the future. But Luke wants us to know that God's plan and his promise is very much still alive. In fact, he begins this account of Jesus with events that take place even before Jesus was born, because he wants us to know that his plan is still working. And he tells us about a person by the name of John. Now, John's parents, we heard about, Zechariah and Elizabeth, are very, very faithful people. They don't have any children, and because they're very old, they are expecting we'll probably never have children. But now Luke wants us to see that God's plan is stirring. So much so that God intervenes, you might say, in a supernatural way by sending an angel, the angel Gabriel, to Zechariah with some unbelievable news. And the first item on that news is that you're going to have a son, and his name is John. And the second thing is he will bring great joy to you, and he will be great in the eyes of the Lord, Luke tells us. The third thing is that John needs to stay focused, and so he's going to take a vow. He's going to take a vow that includes never drinking alcohol. And the fourth thing is that he will be filled with the Holy Spirit even before he is born. And then the fifth thing is that John will be like the prophet Elijah. He will be a prophet. He will turn people to God, and he will prepare the way for the coming of God, coming as a human being into the world. And now, Understandably so, Zechariah is absolutely stunned by this news. How can this be? I can't believe it. It sounds a lot like Abraham and Sarah when they found out that at a very old age they were going to be parents of Isaac. But to show Zechariah that this message is from God, God temporarily takes away Zechariah's speech until John is to be born. Gabriel punctuates his revelation to Zechariah with this final word from verse 20. He says, "For my words will certainly be fulfilled at the proper time." Wow. This is just the very beginning, but Luke is grabbing for our attention here. God is up to something big. He's even sending an angel. Oh my goodness. Zechariah and Elizabeth are simple, wonderful, faithful people. And God has this habit of choosing simple, faithful people to be part of what he is doing. And in this most unlikely of times and in this most unlikely way, God is interrupting. Even when it seems like he hasn't been around for a while, God says, you are to be parents of the next prophet who will prepare the way for God himself coming to earth. We need to stay tuned because Luke has so much more to tell us. And Luke is going to continue to tell us about John, who will tell the world about Jesus and that God is always at work, even when he seems like he's not. He is still at work. May your days be filled with, we might call it eager expectation of how God is going to be at work with us and around us. And for sure, keep on reading Luke together. Have a great day.
If these devotional videos are helpful to you, subscribe to our channel and click the notification button so you know when we post a new video. And of course, please share them with others.